Welcome to the Ecstatic Woman, and we are on our season 2. We are going deeper, we are opening new portals, we are getting new downloads, new codes, new transmissions, and we are so happy to welcome our beautiful guest, Jonita, who is rejoining us and is available to share more magic and medicine with our community. So thank you so much for being here. We are so excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you, Alia. So excited to be back. It's a pleasure to speak with you and be in this space. I loved the summit last time. It was so much juice in it, such variety. I'm so happy to co-create again. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful. And for people who watched our season 1, Jonita shared beautiful medicine around womb magic, yoni healing, around what that means to be in the body as feminine. And today we're going to go deeper in that conversation, but we're also going to talk about the wholeness of the feminine and what makes woman ecstatic, going back to the ecstatic woman. But for somebody who have not seen you or they don't remember your story, your bio, or what you do in the world, what kind of medicine inspires you, can you share a little bit about yourself? I know you have amazing journey from India to London. Now you're in India today. So just share a little bit about yourself.
My story, my background, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and what
Yeah.
you do in the world, how you serve.
Yeah, so I'll be precise and concise. I'll try to be precise and concise. Um, as Alia said, I am from India, born in India, and I have been living in India till the first 21 years of my life, and then moved to England. And my journey in India was a very interesting. I come from a very privileged background of doctors and teachers, and always was instilled into the concept of being independent as a woman. So growing up in the 80s, 90s, you see things around you, the patriarchal society, and India is a goddess culture, right? Like a land of goddess culture. However, feeling that on a regular level, on a day-to-day level, is not what many women experience. So it was very confusing for me that, okay, you worship the goddess, but then you don't revere the women in your life space, right? So it was very confusing, and hence my father, who was my cheerleader, he always said that, okay, for you to be an independent woman, you have to be financially free. That's how you can be independent in this country. And that got stuck to me. So like most of the Indians, I just studied really hard because I thought I need a good job. I became an engineer, IT engineer, like many Indians. And
Wow.
there I was at the age of 21, making a good salary and still confused about myself, like, and about my expression as a woman. And I had to then conform in the boardroom, filled with men. I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't express my opinion, and no one would even take me seriously because I was too young and I was a young girl in the meeting room. So she has nothing to say, right? So I didn't feel free. I didn't feel expressed. I didn't feel independent. Yet I was making a good salary, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Success, check.
yeah, right. So, and there, at the back of my mind, I was really fascinated by Western women because I always thought that Western women are free because my influence was only coming from MTV at the time. So I thought, I would see Western women, I was like, wow, they are free. They can wear whatever they want and they can express themselves. They are free. I need to get to the West. And there came an opportunity to move to London, and I moved to London. I was really happy because I will be free soon, right? And I found a new job there, and life was beautiful because I was free. I was feeling free. I went to the extreme end, from being a bird in the cage to partying, alcohol and wrong circle of friends and just going crazy. And soon realizing that this is not what I want. I don't feel good. My body is tired. I'm tired of looking good for everyone to accept me at my
Mm,
work, in my social circles. And then when I was listening to women around me, they were also saying something very similar. I had girlfriends, we'd go out to drink and people would get drunk and speak their heart out. So everything was fine at work. But then later, what I find is that everyone was tired of playing the game, to do the
mm,
sexy, to do the beautiful, to look beautiful, to be a success.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
But like for the first time, and then I realized these women are also not free. Like they look
mm.
independent and fully expressed, but inside them they are missing something which they are also not aware of what it is. So we were really confused.
Yeah.
So I realized it wasn't about being in the east or west. We women have very similar issues internally. We just don't know how to pinpoint those things. No one teaches us womanhood, right? And so that was the beginning of my journey with confusion. I didn't The different worlds did not teach me much. And at the time I also went through a crisis moment, my father's death. I was diagnosed with severe autoimmune disease, and all
Oh,
of that
wow.
led me to not even feel good about myself. My entire body was filled with psoriasis, and I was on steroids. So things were
Wow.
just going downhill for me.
Mm,
I found a teacher who was doing some essence workshop in London, and by chance, I came across this Facebook ad, £10 ticket for 2 hours. I thought I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see what this is, because why not? Because I have nothing to lose, and I'm so disappointed, anyways, and angry at God, by the way,
mhm,
because I did everything right according to me. Here I am, 23 years old. I don't know. I don't know what it is to be a woman. Nobody can explain why I'm feeling so down and unworthy and not good about myself. I was a very good Christian, reading Bible every day. So what's going on? Why isn't God
mhm.
not helping me the way that I wish?
Oh, wow.
And
The
so
dark feminine portal. We're gonna go to it later, but that's the portal. Ego
yeah,
death.
that was
Pa 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 pa.
everything at once collapsed,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And that happens. That's the nature of the dark feminine, right? Like if we don't look into it, then she throws you into it, right? And I was thrown. This lady, she taught me something about essence, and that really stuck with me. And I started working with that. I started seeing things differently, and my life began to change. And soon it began into a journey of sharing this with other women. So my work evolved through that experience, I would say, in particular. And right now, I work with women. I combine the Eastern traditions of classical Tantra and classical Taoism into the modern lifestyles of us busy women, through rituals, through ceremonies, and through somatic arts, so that we can be the leaders of our own lives. So that's my work in short.
mm, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story because it's so empowering to see that it's possible and it's not roses and butterflies. And that's what we're gonna talk deeper about today. But just that place where you're like, nothing is working, this is not working, that is not working, and then the search for something more meaningful. So such a beautiful, empowering journey for anyone who is watching, feeling confused, feeling like something is off. That's part of the journey. That's initiation. So thank you so
Mhm.
much for being vulnerable and sharing it so beautifully. Yeah, and when you talk about, those initiations and the dark feminine path, and it almost looks like, like Kali chopping off out heads and all of the delusions that are not serving you.
Mhm.
How do you relate to that dance? A lot of people tend to go into something is wrong, I'm doing something wrong, I am damaged, I need healing. So how did you navigate and how you hold people in navigating those challenging times?
What I would like to say is that when something like this happens, when we find ourselves in this point in life where everything is falling apart, like it happened to me, and then it happens time after time. It's not like it just happens once and then our
Yes,
life is set, right?
yes,
it
no.
again and again. And so for me, it became a theme like, okay, I fell apart and then I regrouped, I learned something. And then after some time, I fall apart again and then regroup myself and then again. So what is going on? Like, is something wrong with me, right? Like, why can't I just be all love and light and then, yay, enjoy like how people speak about the personal development and spirituality, right? All love and light. And what became really apparent is to understand the true nature of the feminine, which is the dark.
Mm,
And we as women, we are dark in nature. Our intrinsic quality is dark. The problem here is that we have been taught to um, dislike the dark or consider dark as bad.
mm-hmm,
And when we work with the feminine mystery traditions, the dark side usually refers to the source of mystery.
mm-hmm,
Right. So when I started to not um, run away or not label my dark emotions, which is like, I was really confused. I was doing all this healing work and, with the idea to release my emotional baggage. And what I was experiencing was more anger, and this
mm-hmm,
was really contradicting because I thought that I should feel a relief and I should feel like sense of openness and expansion, which I did. But first, I experienced a lot of anger, and a lot of anger started coming in, a lot of frustration, a lot of resentment, and all of those emotions that was like somewhere somehow deeply repressed in the depths of my womb. It was all coming out, and it felt like, why is this not love and light like I have been told? What is going on?
another
Right.
lie, another lie.
Right. So my mentor at the time very beautifully held space for me. And I would like to say that if you're working with the dark feminine, allow yourself to be held in the space, because then you
Mm-hmm,
can see through your own illusions. It's so important. And she beautifully held space for me. And she said that this is what happens when women return back to their bodies. They are met with a lot of anger. This is so
mm,
common because we don't have space to show that. We don't know how to channel that. We don't even like that. We've been told to be good girls, don't be angry, and get on with the life, come on, let's do it, hustle and all of that. So there's a lot of repressed emotions
mm,
inside of us, like everyday emotions, like you would be
mm,
surprised, right? You would
mm-hmm,
be surprised.
mm-hmm,
So she kind of comforted me like, no, you're not crazy. Your bad emotions or dark emotions are for you to access where power has been repressed in your
yeah.
psyche.
Mm,
And that was revelatory. And then the next job that, or the next task that became for me, was to then understand the emotions and then how I could channel those emotions, how I could
mm-hmm,
those emotions, and realizing that I assumed that all my angry emotions, all my suppressed emotions were for me to express it to someone,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right? That's what we think, like, oh, I'm angry at this and this happened and that happened. So when I allowed myself to speak all of that, I realized that I no longer felt the need to express it to the people who have caused it, right? And that was
mm-hmm.
so relieving. And that then it becomes an ecstatic dance of the dark feminine. And
Yeah.
that's when you begin to realize, like, wow, all of this is for me to feel, all of this
Mm,
for me to transmute. And I no longer fear feeling this, because that's what we do, fear the feeling of the bad emotions. And now I can work with my dark feminine. Now I'm not
mm-hmm.
afraid when I feel like angry or upset or triggered. I just need to go into the dark feminine and learn to dance with her.
Mm, beautiful. And I have goosebumps the entire time you're talking. So definitely transmuting the medicine that is needed for the collective, because yeah, there's so much distortion around the goodness and good girl and earning God's love and
Oh,
shedding
okay.
your dark emotions and judging them, right? It's like the darkness, the judgment.
Yeah.
Eh,
Just
mhm,
ourselves.
judging ourselves. And also I want to touch, like, when you say, all of those repressed emotions and you not having permission to express them. But also, can you talk a little bit more, because I know you work with NLP, you work with somatics, and you also work with tantric tools and Tao Tantra, how those emotions are stored in our body and how it's affecting us as women? Because I know you had to go through huge health initiations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. So these emotions, so many of us feel these emotions on a regular basis, but what we've got used to is numbing them and
Hmm.
going about the day every day. So we numb,
Drinking, smoking, distracting, TV.
yeah, phone, right? And
Hmm.
and also getting busy. I think this
Hmm.
is what is one of the big things I see with my clients. And every time some emotion comes up and something is happening, okay, but let me get busy with doing this because this needs done and to be done. So we've gotten used to numbing our emotions, numbing our dark emotions, and specifically when we come closer to our moon cycle, there are
Hmm.
days that the dark feminine energy is pretty loud and kicking inside of us, and we wrong ourselves again during those times. And I think every woman can relate. We go through like that intense emotions. Sometimes you feel angry, sometimes some thoughts come that irritate you, sometimes you're all of a sudden angry at this person who you have not spoken to, but the thought is coming and you're like, oh my god, there it is, right? So we have
Hmm.
these things, and what do? We take pill to numb ourselves, and numbing and numbing, and this become a numbing culture because
Hmm.
we've been taught that we are not capable of holding the pain,
Oh, I love that. Mm.
right? That because we
Hmm.
are such tender, such soft beings that we cannot hold this immense pain,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So somehow we believe that we are tender but weak as well alongside tender, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, because our nature is tender and resilient. Nobody talks about that. And resilience sometimes shows up in ways like, okay, let's work out and let's build, like let's go into masculine practices. But what about our emotions, like feeling those emotions? And then it comes out, you become like a walking time bomb. And I have done that so many times. I've become angry at people around me and then feeling guilty later that I should have spoken that way. It's like, it's not good.
Hmm.
So the body really knows. And in my case in particular, I was suffering from skin issues, and this is a big thing among women, like suffering from all these issues of self-worth shows up in your
Yes.
skin, right? So it was all over my body. I couldn't stop it. I tried everything and I couldn't stop it. And it was my self-worth issue. It was my safety issue. It was showing up in the form of skin issues. There are a lot of women who have very painful periods. Then there are a lot of women who have issues related to their womb. And emotional eating is one of the consequences of suppressing and
Yeah.
numbing as well, right? And we all go there. The work of the dark feminine is to not wrong your emotions, but to understand your emotions. Because if you are in a woman's body, we are cyclic, and every 28 days we come back to our dark phase, and we
Hmm.
are met with our dark emotions. So when we understand this cycle, and when we allow space for that, when we nurture ourselves according to that through food, through allowing time for us to really see what's going on, to go into some somatic practices, then we are no longer numbing or um, running away or wronging ourselves. We're just standing that, hey, this is something that is coming up. I want to work with it and see what's beyond. And working with the dark feminine is literally about, taking the band-aid and allowing yourself to bleed, because
Hmm.
believe we have the capacity to go through any pain. As women, we do have
Hmm.
capacity. So that's what I always suggest the women that I work with, is to notice your cycles and notice the phase. There comes a phase in this 28-day cycle where you are triggered easily, where
Yeah.
your emotions are really loud, like your dark emotions. And sometimes you may think like, I don't even know why this is happening in my psyche. It's happening because it's been there, stored.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. That's a key point. And the womb, especially when you talk about cycle, right, and cyclical nature and hormones and all of the connection to womb and the cycle in the feminine body. It's us storing all of this trauma and suppressed emotions and repressed emotions and shame and guilt and fear and pain and all of the stuff in the womb space. I know last series we talked a little bit about the importance of connecting with the womb, clearing your womb, but also learning about this cyclical nature, learning about how your womb operates, how to support yourself. Yeah, so it's such a powerful portal for women to connect to.
Yeah, and we must understand the fact that darkness will be a part of us. And it's, again, nothing to shame, but it's just data. I kind of only say data. In the ancient traditions, the darkness was revered. That's why we have all those dark goddesses. Yeah, like we spoke
Yes.
about is Kali, and they were revered not because they were some crazy women, mythological women, but their darkness was a portal to something beautiful in your life. And what I have noticed is the more we access this darkness within us, it opens a lot of creativity. Our
Mm-hmm.
womb has immense power. It's a powerhouse, but it's also a memory house, right?
Yes.
So when we work with the memories, when we work with these repressed emotions, it opens portal for beautiful creative outlets. And most of my work comes through this portal of initiation on a regular basis, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when women come to you, I'm just curious so people can feel into your medicine, and I know you have a very generous gift for our audience. When women come to you, what kind of journey you take them on? What's usually their request around, being coached, being supported, being held in this initiation and rebirth cycle?
Hmm. It's interesting. The most of the women that come to work with me want to understand more of feminine energetics and how to apply it in their next level of life, which is maybe they want to start their business or use their gift in some kind of offering to the world. And that's when I see all the intake forms, right? And
Yes.
when we do our revelatory call, and when we start working and talking about the dark feminine, it usually, changes direction to relationships or even self leadership. And we're no longer talking about business or work, because firstly the work is about doing the work is going within, and finding those places of the darkness where we
Mm-hmm.
haven't allowed power to be expressed. So I particularly take them in a journey of working with the dark feminine energy of our womb space. So
Mm-hmm.
looking where power has been repressed in the womb, and then
Yeah.
we move into working with the dark feminine energy of our heart space, where we have blocked love
Mm-hmm.
and compassion.
Mm.
And then we go into working with the dark feminine energy of our vision, which is where we are afraid of being this visible person in our expression in the world. So it's again always starting from the womb and going
Yes.
upward. That's
Yeah.
the classical tantric way as well.
Yeah. And I love how it's anchored in Tantra and how it's connected to our feminine centers,
Yes,
starting with
exactly.
the womb, clearing everything that is not aligned. So you can come into that bigger vision, right? If you're blocked, if your energy, if your life force, if your creative power, if your imagination is not running through, it's really hard to see.
Mm.
And also we survey our women, and there is a lot of feedback about being confused, feeling empty, feeling stuck, and I feel like trying to create from that place without addressing the womb first will not lead you into an aligned place, because yes, it's like the feminine descent, womb clearing. And we talked a lot about JDX last time and the yoni work, and I know you do this for clients.
Mhm.
And I've been in tantric practice for 9 years, and I've been doing consistent wand and yoni work. And like last month, I found a new spot around my G spot that is still holding pain around masculine specifically.
Mm.
So it's kind of that journey of unlocking and removing everything that is not serving. Then you take them into the heart where they are unconditional love, right? Vitality, empathy and compassion, and then this vision and impact in the world. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, one of the things I learned here, now I'm back in India for next few months. And my initiation happened in England, where I learned with a lot of teachers. And I realized that throughout years that a lot of teachers, what they were teaching me were concepts from the Indian lineage. So it kind of like meant for me that I need to return back to my roots rather than
Mm-hmm.
running away from there. And so it was
Yeah.
a level healing there for me as well. So I came back to India to learn from some of the mystics here. You know, it's not easy to find them online, and you know, they don't have websites and stuff. And one thing that they said, one of the ladies, she said it really hit me, which makes really sense, is the concept of healing. That we've taken this concept of healing as a masculine paradigm, that we start somewhere and then we end somewhere. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
journey, or in the, as in the Western world, we know how it is, like, oh, 5 steps to heal this and that, and like,
Yeah.
and and she told me that healing is living. You live and you heal every day. You never finish healing. It's not a task.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a destination. And that kind of also brings a lot of relief, so that we are no longer chasing an end thing, like, oh, okay, like you've done so much work on yourself, right? And then can you just
Mm-hmm.
say, like, yeah, I'm healed, I'm done, I'm fixed, right? Like, it doesn't happen, right? So that is
Yeah.
also a concept that can really put the chase in our mind to fix ourselves, to rest, because it's not a journey or meeting the destination. And healing is literally like, you know, waking up and like me connecting with you, and our hearts meet, and it sparkles, and in that moment we met with healing energy, right? So it happens every day, little by little. It's progress. It's a way of life. It's not a course to do in particular, but it's a way of
Yeah.
living.
I love it. Yeah. And that's a mystery that you opened with, talking about the feminine mystery, the darkness, the Shakti, right? The dark cosmic energy. And then everything is created from that. And I
Absolutely.
also want to anchor like what you were saying, like there is no destination and there is no, oh my God, I'm healed. In the context of dark feminine, dancing with unknown is on top of the list, you know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the mind wants to know, the mind wants to be reassured that there is like a gem at the end of the tunnel, right? And the dark feminine is like, maybe.
Dance, dance with me.
Yeah, yeah, just keep dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to circle back before you share your generous gift, that the path of dark feminine is not a linear path. The path of womb activation and womb connection is not a linear path. And I want to bring back the importance of mentorship when you say make sure that you have somebody holding your hand. Because with dark feminine, it's not business strategy A, B, C. It's more about navigating that unknown, navigating those dark emotions, navigating that painful spot on in your yoni that you don't even know where it came from. So just honoring that path of mentorship and choosing to receive from somebody who walked the darkness.
Mm. Yeah, and it's so important to also connect with the other person's energies, right? Like we see so many mentors, we see so many coaches out there. It's so important that you really feel like, okay, I like this person's essence, yeah, like essence
Mm-hmm.
work. I like this person's essence. I think she can hold space for me because something resonates. And then choose people. Like, we get to choose. I see support as something that I choose, and it's an empowering thing, not something that I need, right? I choose. And we all have support. You and I, we all have support.
Mm-hmm.
We is here without that. So I want to see it as as a step to up level your empowerment. Like, I have the choice, and we women in the Western world, we really are privileged in choosing this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love choosing my mentors, shamanically as well, especially with the dark feminine. I'm like, dark mother, reveal my guide, please reveal my guide, and then pop, they would be in my awareness.
Uh,
Yeah, beautiful. So I know you're offering the most generous gift ever, which is your attention and your time and your medicine and your wisdom and your magic and all of the beautiful tools that you have. So just tell a little bit about how much time you're offering, what people should bring into the conversation, and then we'll upload the link so people can book your calendar.
Yeah, so I would love to offer something called Revelation Call. And this is when women want to discover their dark feminine. Once you apply for this call, I will send you 4 or 5 questions to write down, so I can decipher the decipher the levels of your dark feminine understanding and how it's happening. It's a 20 minutes call with me, so we will work through where we can open space for you inside of you to work with your dark feminine, and then create some kind of an embodiment plan for you. And this happens really fast, because when we meet, we work with the body, not with our heads. So, and that's like very quick. We don't need much time for that. So I would love to offer that space to women who are interested.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. It's such a beautiful, generous gift. Your medicine is amazing. Our people love you. Our tribe loves you. So yeah, thank you so much for offering this. Anything else in the space that you feel like will serve that we haven't touched? Just you know, feel into it before we complete.
Hmm. What I just feel is that now is the time for us to unlearn a lot of things that we have been holding on to, that's no longer serving. And we all know that what it is for us, because we hear those dark feminine whispers. So I would invite women to just lean into it, trust, and see what she has to speak, because then we can work with it. But first, listen.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for shining your light, for being all over the globe and still being available for our audience and offering such an amazing gift. It's nice to have you. We're going to have you more. We love you.
Thank you so much, Alia. You hold a beautiful space, and I love how the conversation just organically flowed through our and your mind and your essence. So I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Dun, 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 dun.